guess we're going to be talking about some of the major changes that are going on in the technology area today and talk about how you can actually use those in businesses. So many businesses have been stuck for the last few years. The recession has slowed things down and people were just unwilling to get out and do a lot of new things. But while that was going on, at the same time, technology just kept changing. And so there's all kinds of new capabilities that we have today that we can use, and that's what we're going to be discussing in the speech.
And so Dan, the guy who drew those pictures, he told us a hilarious story yesterday in our team meeting. He was down in, he lives in Seattle, and he was down on the waterfront. There are a lot of homeless people in Seattle. One of the homeless people came up to him and said, you know, can you give me some money? And Dan says, like me, he's like, I don't care money anymore. I can't give you any money. And this is a true story. The homeless guy takes out one of these squares and his iPhone and plugs in and says, I take credit cards.
The idea behind Reboot is a new way of thinking about how to organize IT that's much more collaborative, that's much less siloed with business people on one side and IT people on the other. And the purpose of our book and the purpose of the talk tonight is thinking about how this important technology can be used in ways that's more creative and better serves the business, rather than having sort of an order taker mentality from IT where not much creativity happens.
So we've been working with technology organizations over the last 20 years or so, and we tend to work with pretty big companies, and these companies tend to self-describe themselves as big and or old and or slow, and sometimes they have trouble getting things done. And in fact, for those of you who've been in really large companies, sometimes it's amazing that these companies actually are competitive and even profitable with the number of people they have doing things, the processes they have doing things. When we talk about this with a CIO, we talk about how, you know, a cost-cutting strategy really isn't a strategy, and if you go down that path, you're ultimately setting yourself up to be outsourced. Because if you just keep trying to cut costs and cut costs and cut costs, and you're not doing anything that really is a differentiator for your business, then why even have an IT shop? This is kind of the way I like to think about the world, because I love IT. So IT is kind of in the middle of the whole world, or the middle of the whole universe, and probably a lot of IT people think this way. So let's just start with this model. If you're thinking about it this way, you know, you can have some objectives that are really more internally focused, and that's okay. So the first one, you know, maybe we want to go decrease IT costs by 10% next year through virtualization. This is something we often see when we go in and we talk to CIOs about what strategies they may have in place to achieve their objectives.